zone that separates North and South Korea. You're looking at live pictures right now from the pool. This is just moments away, just feet away from where the actual line of demarcation is at. He will be the first American president to meet with a North Korean leader at the DMZ. The meeting comes just days after President Trump first tweeted he would like to meet him on his trip to the demilitarized zone for a handshake. And again, we expect President Trump, any moment to come out, and then if it goes to plan, as described by President Trump, we do expect Kim Jong Un also to arrive, and then they would have at least a handshake. We seem to be getting some sort of indication that it's about to happen. As we do wait for this, let's go to Richard Engel, who's at the demilitarized zone, reporting for us. And Richard, as we watch some of these live pictures, it looks like it's ready to happen right now. We see President Trump actually coming out, and let's listen in.
Good to see you again. I've never expected to meet you at this place. If your Excellency take a step forward, you will be the first U.S. president to cross this line.
Get out of the way. Move.
Clear. All of you. Clear. No.
Hey.
Very good.
Hey. Come on. Move. Wait till they move.
Come on, guys.
Wait till they move.
This is a great moment.
Big moment. Big progress. Tremendous progress.
Just enough.
Okay, guys, come on. Come on. Go. Straight, they're going straight.
I might have failed that.
And then and you said yes. I said
Hey, Triple, we are done.
How do you feel?
feel great. It's a great honor to be here.
Stop. Okay.
As you can see, this shows that nobody has expected this moment.
Do anything.
I don't have a shot. Mr. President, U.S. pool right here. U.S. pool right here.
Chairman Kim, how do you feel?
김 위원장님 어떻게 기분이 어떠십니까?
오늘 이제 대통령이 물리선을 넘어서 우리 땅을 밟았는데 사상 처음으로 우리 땅을 밟은 미국 대통령이 되셨습니다.
President Trump has just walked across the demarcation line that made him the first U.S. president to visit our country.
이 행동 자체만 보시지 말고 이 트럼프 대통령께서 분리선을 넘어서 가신 거는 다시 말하면 그 좋지 않은 그 과거를 청산하고
We expect it. We were in Japan for the G20. We came over and I said, hey, I'm over here. I want to call it Chairman Kim. And we got to meet, and stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made. A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship. So I just want to thank you. That was very quick notice, and I want to thank you.
내가 지금 얘기하고 싶은 거는 아주 무한한 영광이다라는 얘기입니다. 내가 G20에 왔다가 한국에 오게 되니까 그런데 김 위원장한테 전화를 하고 연락을 해서 한번 만나야 되겠다라고 했습니다. 그러니까 오랜 통보를 하지 않았는데도 즉각 응답해 주셔서 대단히 감사드립니다. 우리는 지금까지 아주 엄청난 많은 진전을 이루었다고 생각합니다. 그리고 영광입니다.
So we're going to go inside. We're going to talk for a little while about different things, and a lot of really positive things are happening, and I'm glad you could be here to see it. But tremendous positivity, really great things are happening, and in a lot of places. But we met and we liked each other from day one, and that was very important.
조금 있다가 우리가 시간을 보내서 서로 그 얘기를 좀 할 예정입니다. 지금까지 우리는 대단한 그러한 진전을 이루었습니다. 우리는 서로 만나자마자 서로 아주 느낌이 좋았습니다. 그리고 서로 좋아하고 있습니다. 아마도 많은 진전을 이룰 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I would invite him right now to the White House.
Guys, back. Stay behind me. I'm open some.
아이고, 저좀 두고.
Move. Come on. Do your job. Let's go, bud.
수진아, 뒤로.
Come on, let's go. Come on, play ball, man. That's all I'm asking.
Mark. 앞에 좀만 나왔어.
I really like to extend my tribute to the efforts of Luke, and you have really made a historic moment today.
It's a great day for a lot of people. It's a great day really for the world if you think about it. Beyond North Korea, South Korea, it's a great day for the world, and it's an honor for me to be here. And thank you both very much.
I'm the U.S. school. I'm the U.S. school. I'm the U.S. school.
Come here. Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. Excuse me, official.
I don't have a shot. No, I don't have a shot.
Presented such a big hope to the 80,000 people and for so I do look forward to the progress being made in your customer dialogue.
Well, I want to thank everybody. Thank you all for being here. I have to say that when I first became president of the United States, there was great conflict in this area, great conflict. And now we have just the opposite. And it's my honor, and it's the chairman's honor, I can say. We work well together. And Mr. President, thank you.
내가 또 얘기해야 될 것은 내가 처음 대통령을 취임했을 때 이 그 한반도에는 상당히 많은 갈등과 그런 의심의 의혹이 있습니다. 그런데 이제 완전히 반대가 되었습니다. 엄청나게 많은 그런 진전이 있었고 그런 그 맥락에서 두 분 정상께 감사드립니다.
나도 이 자리를 보고 게 밝은 앞을 관망할 수 있는 이런 순간을 마련하는 데 커다란 공헌을 하신 분께 감사의 말씀을 드리겠습니다.
I would like to also take this opportunity to express my gratitude for all the assistance.
Okay, switch back. Yes, all of us. To the back. All of us together. Yes. Back to the yellow line, guys. Back to the yellow line.
Hold it. No, press. Stop. Press. Stop and press. Quick.
Okay.
I'm sure you did. Are you guys okay?
That was a lot.
That was a lot. I know.
And
You
history
really
was
got
made, as you can see there, President Trump meeting with Kim Jong Un, as well as Moon Jae-in, the president of South Korea, and Kim Jong Un saying that this was a moment in history, that a U.S. president had crossed over and was in North Korea for the first time. And after they had that short walk, they're now on the South Korean side in the building adjacent to these three blue UN buildings. We are not sure what they will be discussing, but during this entire meeting, which seemed to have been put together last minute, according to what the president says, it turned out to be a historic moment. And our chief foreign correspondent, who has been at the DMZ, has been there watching all the comings and goings in the lead up to this. Richard Engel, as you saw this, that you could not help but think of the historic moment, certainly, of a U.S. president walking across that demarcation line that you have so well described to us throughout your reporting.
This has never happened before. Technically, the United States and North Korea are at war. This demilitarized zone has been in place since the end of the Korean War, or since the two sides stopped fighting. And it was built for this purpose. It was built for international diplomacy. It was built as a safe space where hostile parties could come together. Many U.S. presidents have visited the DMZ, but no U.S. president until just a short while ago has actually crossed over into North Korean territory. So what we saw was President Trump arriving on the South Korean side, walking up to the physical demarcation line between North and South Korea, a small cement barrier. It's just a few inches high, about a foot wide, waiting there for Kim Jong Un to arrive. Once he did, the two leaders, President Trump crossed into North Korea, took about 20 steps, exchanged a few words with Kim Jong Un, and then Kim Jong Un, as if to repay the diplomatic gesture, turned with the president, and the two leaders came back to that demarcation line, crossed over it, entered into South Korean territory, and then went and met with the South Korean president. All of this a symbol of diplomatic progress. All of this to show that these three parties who fought one of the most horrific wars of this century are now getting together in the demilitarized zone in a place that was built exactly for this purpose. Then it didn't end. They spoke to some reporters, the pool reporters who were brought in. It was a bit chaotic. It was a bit messy. Real-time events, real-time history often are messy events. And then the three of them went into into Freedom House on the South Korean side, and are continuing their discussions. There had been rumors that this would happen, but we didn't get a confirmation that this kind of meeting was going to take place until a few hours before it did. And we didn't know right until you saw it on live television that President Trump was actually going to take that one-foot step, but a very important one-foot step, and become the first U.S. president to cross into North Korean territory.
Yeah, and many of our pictures that we're able to show were from the pool reporters there that were scrambling, as you were describing, to get every last moment there, and that in the mix of also having North Korean media as well. And this is video that we're getting, and I believe it's live, in the very room where they will sit down and talk now, President Trump and Kim Jong Un. And in fact, let's just see if we can listen in for a little bit to see if there's any audio that we can pick up.
이런 장소에서 이렇게 만나는 관련해서 모든 이목이 여기 집중되고
Also, the place of all meeting is special. That's why it draws the attention of so many people.
어떤 사람들은 일부에서는 대통령께서 보내신 친서를 내가 보면서 미리 사전에 합의된 만남이 아닌가 이런 말들도 하던데, 사실 난 어제 아침에 대통령께서 그런 의향을 표시하신 걸 보고 나 역시 깜짝 놀랐고, 정식으로 오늘 여기서 만날 걸 제안하시는 말씀을 오후 늦은 시간에야 이렇게 알게 됐습니다.
Some people say as if this meeting was pre-arranged through the letters you have sent to me. Myself was surprised Yesterday morning, when you expressed the willingness to meet with me here, and also when we got the official confirmation late yesterday afternoon.
아빠를 다시 만나고 싶고 또 이 만남 자체가 특히나 이런 장소에서 만나면 우리 북과 남 사이에는 분단의 상징이고 또 이렇게 나쁜 과거를 연상케 하게 되는 이런 자리에서 오랜 적대적 관계였던 우리 두 나라가 이렇게 여기서 평화의 악수를 하는 것 자체가 어제와 달라진 오늘을 표현하는 것이고 앞으로 더 좋게 우리가 변할 수 있다는 걸 모든 사람들한테 보여주는 만남이라고 난 긍정적으로 생각했고 또 앞으로 우리가 하는 행동에 긍정적인 영향을 미칠 수 있다고 생각했습니다.
Also, I'm always wanted to meet with you again, and this place of meeting is a symbol of separation between Pakistan and also a reminder of unfortunate past. Thank you. As the two countries share along unfortunate past, as a place shows that we are willing to put an end to the unfortunate past and also open a new future and provide.
White House photographer, come down, please.
우리 박사와 나 사이에 존재하는 그런 훌륭한 관계가 아니라면 아마 이 하루 만에 이런 상봉이 전격적으로 이루어지지 못했을 거라고 생각합니다. 그래서 난 앞으로 박사와 이런 훌륭한 관계가 남들이 예상 못하는 그런 계속 좋은 일들을 계속 만들면서 우리가 앞으로 해야 될 일들에 그 맞닿는 그런 난관과 장애를 견인하는 극복하는 그런 신비로운 그런 힘으로 될 거라고 확신합니다.
If it was not for our excellent relation between the two of us, it would not have been possible to have this kind of opportunity. So I would like to use this strong relation to create more good news, which nobody expects in the past, and also to propel the good relation between our countries.
White House photographer, come down, please.
Well, I want to thank you, Chairman. You hear the power of that voice. Nobody's heard that voice before. He doesn't do news conferences, in case you haven't heard. And this was a special moment. And this is, I think, really, as President Moon said, this is a historic moment, the fact that we're meeting. And I want to thank Chairman Kim for something else. When I put out the social media notification, if he didn't show up, the press was going to make me look very bad. So you made us both look good, and I appreciate it. But we've developed a great relationship. I really think that if you go back 2.5 years and you look at what was going on prior to my becoming president, it was a very, very bad situation, a very dangerous situation for South Korea, for North Korea, for the world. And I think the relationship that we've developed has meant so much to so many people. And it's just an honor to be with you, and it was an honor that you asked me to step over that line, and I was proud to step over the line. I thought you might do that. I wasn't sure, but I was ready to do it, and I want to thank you. It's been great. It's been great. Very historic. They were just saying, one of the folks from the media was saying this could be a very historic moment, and I guess that's what it is. But I enjoyed being with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's move. Let's move. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, back out the door, please. Back out the door. Thanks. Straight up back. Straight back out, guys. Thank you. Straight back out. Thanks. Go ahead.
President Trump, Kim Jong Un, short comments with the press, now being asked to leave, as you can probably see. Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner with the president during his G20 trip. You can see Mike Pompeo there, Secretary of State, as well as others there with the president. Very short remarks as they now undertake what appears to be a meeting. The details have not been put out necessarily of what they will be talking about or for how long at this moment. But we have, as you've seen, these very pictures of this historic moment of President Trump walking across, as he said, he stepped over the line. And stepping over the line here, Richard Engel still with us at the moment, stepping over the line this time, meaning a lot, certainly for at least a photo op and certainly for the history books here. But then the tough stuff remains here, Richard Engel, and what will be next when it comes to North Korean-U.S. relations?
Well, I think this is absolutely designed to be in the history books, and President Trump kept referring to that. The question is he rewriting history right now? And there are certain aspects of his visit in which he does absolutely appear to be rewriting history. He talked repeatedly how before he became president, the relations between North and South Korea were incredibly tense, that they were on the brink of war, but that it was only through his election, his arrival, and his special bond and friendship that he delivered, a bond and friendship which was clearly on display today with the chairman of North Korea, Kim Jong Un, that President Trump saying without that bond and friendship, things would have been worse, potentially even have led to war. The reality is the tensions between North and South Korea dramatically spiked after President Trump got elected. There was tremendous rhetoric and insults, with President Trump calling the North Korean leader, the same person he is embracing right now as a friend, before he was calling him Little Rocket Man. North Korea was exploding nuclear weapons inside of its mountains. People in South Korea thought that the two countries were on the brink of war. So there is an aspect where President Trump is now congratulating himself for easing tensions that he also helped create. But it is still a historic moment. It had not been done before, and he will go down in history as the first U.S. president to cross into North Korea. But what is still being written is the why. Why did he do it? Did he do it in order to rewrite history and paint himself as a deal maker, as a peacemaker? Is he trying to distract, or is he trying to restart negotiations? This is the third summit, the third meeting that the two leaders have had. President Trump initially said it's just going to be a handshake. It has turned out to be more than a handshake, with the two of them going into that conference hall, a conference hall that was set up. You saw American and North Korean flags. So not all of this was as spontaneous as it seems. So now they are entering into meetings, and what appears to be could be a brief, but a third summit.
Richard Engel, our chief foreign correspondent there at the DMZ. The breaking news: President Trump meeting Kim Jong Un at the DMZ and being the first U.S. president to cross into North Korea. This has been an NBC News special report. I'm Richard Louie. For more continuing coverage, you can go to MSNBC.
Video. If so, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that like button. Thank you for tuning in to the Center of Political Debates, Public and Press Discussions. We invite you to join our political news and debate community. Join by clicking the subscribe button below. Hit the bell button for notification of more breaking news political videos. And we also invite you to join our Facebook debate group and voice your political input. You can see the Facebook link in the description below. We'll see you soon with our next breaking news videos.